Chapter 6, 6-1. Here, this is very simply taking the definition and finding out what word that it goes with. Each of these can only be used once, so keep that in mind. They may fall into multiple, but each one can only be used once. 6-5. Here, all you're going to do is read the sentence. So, reviso mis mensajes electrónicos. Copy, paste an answer. Constantemente, por ejemplo, right? Whatever you pick, there's no right or wrong answer here, right? So long as you're using one of these. Question 3. 6-9 rather. This makes reference to page 172, which has a list of all this vocab, so please refer to that. Here, por ejemplo, son las compañías multinacionales, etc., etc. So please make reference to page 172 to figure out this vocabulary. 6-3. This is a question on the reflexives. If you need to review the reflexives, you have a link here, but you also have my short video up here, right? This is very easy. Now, number 1, yo lavarse el pelo. You're going to start with yo, and then you're going to conjugate lavarse. Yo me lavo el pelo. No periods, right? Because if you put a period, it's going to mark it as wrong. Now remember, you're not conjugating this in the preterite, you're conjugating it in the present tense. Very simple. Start with your yo, write that in, and then conjugate this according to whatever the subject is, which is the yo, and then add that, and you're done. You don't have to finish the sentence, anything like that. It's already finished. And that's it for that. Here in 6-11, this is a very, very, very straightforward question. All you're doing is conjugating the verb according to the subject. So yo estudié, yo escribí, etc., etc., all the way down. Ana escribió, etc. Remember, some of these have special forms. Practicar, leer, ir, dormir. All have special, well, I wrote that down here, all have special forms. If you need to review, remember there's a pretérito review up here, and you can also go to the pretérito cheat sheet, which is on the front page of Canvas, and download that, print it, keep a copy for your reference. Down here, the key to this question, 6-13, you're doing everything in la forma de tú. So tú, ir, fuiste. Aquí, this is also a reflexive, remember, so the reflexives are coming back. So la forma de tú, reflexive, we know it's going to be te, and then we're just going to conjugate the verb as per normal. Cortaste. And keep going like that. 6-14, a little bit trickier, right? Of course, I'm going to do this to you. So you have to use options. You have different verb options, but these all have to be conjugated in the preterite tense. We're going to imagine that we're Antonio and we're telling this in the yo form. So yesterday, an extraordinary day. Yesterday walked, yesterday completed, yesterday was, exactly, ayer fue. En la mañana yo, I blank muy productiva. Well, we have another I was, right? Yo fui. So we have another was in here that we can use. So we got rid of our ser and our ser. Just work through these as you go. You'll get fewer and fewer options until you eventually get to the end. Remember, all in the preterite. 6-16, direct objects. So if you need to review direct objects, go up here to review them. Very short video, 3 minutes. You're looking for the what in the sentence. And remember, this is a conversation. So Amalia, tenemos la lista de verbos irregulares. So Amalia is saying tenemos. What do we have? What is being had? La lista de verbos. So it's la, right? If you don't know how to identify that, go up to review direct object pronouns. Roberto, ¿sabes todas las palabras del vocabulario? No, todavía no. So do you know what is being known? Las palabras, which is femenino, plural, las, etc., etc. I'm not going to give them all to you, but there you go. 6-17 is much the same way, right? But this is a conversation, so we have to figure it out. So, ¿quién va a comprar los mariscos y el arroz? So who is going to buy what is being bought? Mariscos y arroz. So we have two things here. We have a los, sorry, we have a los mariscos. This is the what, right? Mariscos and el arroz. So how are we going to know what to do with them? Well, remember, let's say this was la manzana, right? To make this a little more complicated. Manzana. Remember in Spanish that whenever we have two things together and one is female and one is male, that it defaults to the masculine form. Masculine form. So we know this is going to be lo or it's going to be los, right? Is this an it or is this a them? Well, it's referring to mariscos and manzana, so of course it's going to be a them, right? And here having it masculine makes that choice even easier because we know it's going to be masculine. So if this were, for example, la manzana y las uvas. She went to buy grapes and apples, right? So for example, if that was it, so we'd say, well, is this feminine? Well, both things are feminine. So if they're both feminine, yeah, it's going to be feminine. So we're either going to have la or we're going to have las. Is it plural or singular? Well, it's them, it's not it. So it will be las in that case. So keep working through it that way. So go back to the question and find out what is being asked, right? Yo no sé hacer paella. ¿Y tú? No, yo tampoco. I don't know how to make it. What's the it? The it is paella. You have to ask yourself, is that feminine or singular? A feminine or masculine? It's feminine. Singular or plural? It's singular. La sé hacer. And keep going like that. Question number 3. This one is a little more complex. And for this one, you might want to review the present progressive because the present progressive is important here. I know you last did that in 101. So up here at the very top, I have a link to review the present progressive. So what you'll do in this question, ¿Está tu hermano haciendo la cama para los abuelos? So we're going to answer sí, because everything is getting done, right? We're going to start with sí. Está. So is he making the bed? Yes, he's making it. Está haciendo. So what's the it? The it is la cama, right? We know the direct object for that is going to be la. And with the present progressive, we can either place it here, la está haciendo, or we can attach it to the end with an accent, right? One or the other, but not both. So si la está haciendo, o si está haciéndola. And when you attach to the end, you need an accent. So keep going through like that. However, some of these aren't going to be the present progressive, and that's where this gets a little bit complicated. Aquí, por ejemplo, ¿pueden tu papá y tío limpiar el jardín? Can your dad and your uncle clean the garden? How would you respond to that in English? You would say, yes, they can clean it. Sí. Why does that keep defaulting? There we go. Sí. I should just be writing it over here. So, sí, pueden limpiar. And what's the it? The it is el jardín, which we know is going to be lo. So it will either be sí lo pueden limpiar o sí pueden limpiarlo. Limpiarlo. Yeah, with an accent there. So not all of these are going to be the present progressive. Some of them will. This is the present progressive. That's the present progressive. But here we have the simple future, right? So if you need to, like I said, go back to the review the present progressive. And also there's another short video called Placement of Pronouns, which will probably help you out as well. Finally, we have 6-2. In 6-2, we have the these are essay questions, right? So you're just going to read and answer the questions down here. Very simple, nothing complicated. Here, I want you to list at least 2 people that would work in each location. So in the hospital, we might have nurses and doctors or whatever, right? So write your answers down here. 6-12, write this in the forma de nosotros, stuff that happened last week. So you are using the pretérito here in the form of nosotros.